Welcome to round 4 of the Triumph Triple Challenge here at Snetterton, and you'll never guess what, there's a big problem already. For some reason there's this big yellow ball in the sky that seems to be affecting everyone. They're getting naked and for some reason putting in really quick lap times here. Yeah, it's the first time we haven't had a wet weather affected race weekend in the British Superbike Championship, and it should be an action-packed weekend. We've got race 1 in a couple of hours, race 2 takes place tomorrow, but first up, let's find out what happened in qualifying. So qualifying took place on Friday here at Snetterton. It was the first dry qualifying since race 1 at Brands Hatch, but there were no real changes in the standings. With Rob Guyver taking his 5th pole of the season, 1.7 seconds ahead of championship rival Phil Atkinson in 2nd. Piers Hutchins topped off a really impressive start to the weekend by nabbing 3rd place and 1st in the Premier class. And then James Egan, the talented South African rider who came over from Superbikes just a few months ago in South Africa, managed to nab 4th place, having only done 8 or 9 laps around the circuit. Race 1 is only a couple of hours away, but first up, we're going to have a chat to someone who has made their return to the Triumph Triple Challenge this year. So Ben, you've lined up on the grid with Cal Crutchlow, Casey Stoner, to name but a few, but this year you decided to come back for your 2nd year in the Triumph Triple Challenge. What inspired that decision, my friend?
Basically had quite good fun in the series last year. Admittedly, I didn't kick on as well with the bike as I'd have hoped, but we thought we'd come and give it another crack this year.
Now, you've ridden in a lot of different categories, haven't you? List a few of them.
Yeah, I've ridden in the Aprilia Super Teens. I did the Junior Superstock, which is now the Superstock 600 in its first incarnation. More recently, I've done the KTM RC8 Cup and also the Superstock 1000 Championship. So I think that's one of the things that I'm struggling with more than anything is the last kind of 4 or 5 years I've been riding 1000cc bikes and jumped back on a 600 and I've got to adapt my riding style. I'm definitely still in the point and squirt and not so much corner speed. So I think there's more to come from me, definitely.
Well, no, I mean, obviously it's been a very competitive TTC this year. In fact, I think a lot of people have been impressed with the standard of racing. How does it compare to the other categories you have raced in?
No, it is very high. You know, there's some really good guys. I mean, you've got Rob Guyver, who you know, I've known Rob for years, and he's obviously been in the top class of the 125s for quite a few years now. But then there's new guys that come into it every year. You know, last year we saw some new guys in the series, the likes of Luke Jones, Ashley Beach, that were, you know, really quick and really at the sharp end. This year, you know, James Egan's come into it. He's doing really well. You know, there's other guys out there that are fast as well, and yeah, it's always tough, and there's some good guys out there.
One man I had to come and find in the paddock is Tom Hayward, who is making his return after a really nasty fall at Thruxton, which, well, it looks so promising after a winning race 2 at Brands, mate. Is it good to be back out on the bike?
Yeah, it's just good to be back out there, to be honest with you. No, I didn't think I was going to be back this soon, but you know, not quite 100%, but yeah, just going to see what we can do, really.
Now, you went down in quali, didn't you, at Thruxton? And what the extent of the injuries?
It was a broken collarbone, broken rib, and just lost the end of my finger, which was had to be amputated, and just a lot of bruising. So you know, been through the mill a bit. So. But
not bad to bounce back in what is it, 6-7 weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks. So you know, it's pretty good, I think.
Okay, and 6 in qualifying, you were happy with that performance, just to get back out there again?
Yeah, my target was front 2 rows really, just so I can get away with the leaders hopefully and see what we can do.
I think that's about enough chat from the paddock this weekend. As you can see, the boys are heading out behind us. It's time to get down to the action in race 1. Chrissy, last time we saw you were getting cut out of your levers after a rather nasty crash in race 1 at Oulton Park. You just nabbed 3rd place here at race 1 at Snetterton. How's that feel?
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant to come back like this. I wasn't sure coming into the weekend how my shoulder was going to be since I haven't done any sort of physical activity since Oulton. But yeah, I got past the fit race and it's causing us no problems out there, thankfully. It's a little bit sore now coming afterwards, but with the adrenaline and stuff, you don't feel it at all out there.
Phil Atkinson, another second place, mate. Looked quite comfortable there, quite a big gap between you and third.
Yeah, we stayed with Rob for the first 2 or 3 laps. He made a couple of passes, but once he got past, and I tried to get back, lost a bit of ground in him, and once that happened, he got a gap, and I just couldn't run with his pace. If I managed to stay with him, probably I might be able to close it down a bit, but once I realised he had a couple of second gap, I just backed off, kept second place safe, and try again tomorrow.
So 5 wins out of 7 so far, Rob, and won by over 12 seconds in that race. It's not going badly, is it?
No, it's going really well. I mean, it may look easy, but it's not easy. I mean, with this wind and stuff like that, it's, you know, you got to keep your concentration up when you've got a big lead. That I'd rather be in a battle any day, you know. But yeah, after about 6 laps, I really calmed down, got my head down, was rattling off laps. I see the gap was opening up. Just enjoyed the last couple of laps, sliding it around, and yeah, it was really nice.
So race 1 saw Rob Guyver dominate and win by 12 seconds. Phil Atkinson nabbed another second place and finished 10 seconds ahead of the battle for third, which is where it was all taking place. Piers Hutchins and Chrissy Rouse having a real humdinger. Chrissy, though, just nicking that final podium place. But Piers will be happy with his first in the Premier class. One real shame from today is that Dan Fuller, who actually got his first race finish and his first podium in the Premier class, had an incident off track with one of the 848 Ducatis and is currently in the medical centre. So best wishes to him. Hopefully we'll catch up with him and have a chat tomorrow morning if he's okay, and we'll bring you all the action from race 2. Day 2 of the Triumph Triple Challenge here at Snetterton, and the sun is still shining. Race 2 is about half an hour away, but before we get into the action there, we thought we'd take some time in the paddock to chat to some of the other riders that race for Triumph and some of the other support series for the British Superbike Championship, including the Supersport Championship. And we have here at the Vancraft Triumph tent none other than Jimmy Hillfeller. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Left-handed shake, dodgy finger. Mate, how's the season going so far?
Yeah, it's been hard, to be honest. We've been sort of playing a bit of catch-up throughout the season. We're getting there now, though. We've had a good qualifying here at Snetterton.
Cool, and how's it been so far for you this season, racing for Vancraft and for Triumph themselves, and being on the 675?
Yeah, it's good. The bike's good. I love riding the bike. It's probably the most comfortable bike out there to ride. It's been hard. It's not an easy championship. It's probably as competitive as it's been ever, I'd say. The times are real quick, and just trying to keep up the pace and stay with them.
And I saw you obviously chatting to your younger brother Tommy Hill earlier.
Older brother. Yeah.
We always drop that in. But was he giving you any advice, or were you just telling him to sod off and stop nicking your coffee?
No, it's good for him to watch. Obviously, he's a good rider. He wouldn't be if he didn't win the championship. So yeah, he went out and watched me then just to see what was going on, and he was saying the same thing as me. So it was good to sort of have a bit of backup. And so as long as we work with my mechanics now and see what we can do and sort something out for race 2.
And another man doing rather well in the Supersport Championship for Triumph, for Smith Triumph, as you can see behind us, is Billy McConnell. Billy, 5th yesterday in race 1, 5th in the Championship. How's the season going for you, fella?
Yeah, you know, it's not going too bad. You know, 5th in the Championship is not where we wanted to be. You know, the Smiths Gloucester team have put a massive effort in to be at the front, and unfortunately the year didn't take off to the best start that we wanted to.
Listen, one thing I need to chat to you about is, obviously we see your mechanics working on your bikes behind us. They're rebuilding pretty much every bit in between races, doing things that they can. But you've been involved with you're on the main test rider for the 675 street bike, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, we've been involved with Triumph for the last 3 years, and yeah, we do a lot of the testing there, and you know, can't say too much what we do for the testing wise, but you know, the road bikes to the actual race bikes is there's a lot of development that goes in. You actually don't realise how much goes into. When we do track endurance, we say we do 5,000 miles on one bike.
Wow. And
that's just like literally racing around a track for 5,000 miles, and you don't realise where you look at little brackets and that on the exhaust pipes and they go, oh, they look a bit fragile, but so you replace them with a billet or a machine piece aluminium, and they'll snap because simply they've been through the test and they know that that part can make that. So you know, the stock parts are pretty much probably some of the most reliable parts.
Quality. Well, it's such good to get an insight from a guy who's, spending loads of time on the race bike, doing thousands and thousands of miles on the road bike, and mate, just good luck for race 2 later. We'll be watching with interest.
Hopefully get the chumpies on the top step.
So then, Sunday morning, we managed to catch up the man who was in the medical centre last night after the race, after getting his first podium this season, Dan Fuller. So chuffed for you to get second in the Premier class, 9th overall. Tell us about the race first. How was that for you?
It was hard. It was very hot. I ended up having a bit of cotton wool mouth. My mouth was so dry going around there, especially down the back straight. It was hard work though. It was really good though. I enjoyed it. I had a good tussle with Ben Taylor, who got me on the last lap for 8th, and I finished 9th. But a good result, second in the Premier, and I'm pretty pleased.
We were so chuffed and so looking forward to speaking to you, because I know it's been a bit of a tough season so far, but you've shown at times to say you can be right on the pace. But what happened afterwards once you came off the podium?
Got down off the podium step and went to move the bike, so I got instructed by the marshals, and as I went to go through the gap to go to the collecting area, Ducati pulled out from beyond a sort of slip road, and I had nowhere to go and hit him, unfortunately, which inevitably took him off and me off as well.
Damage to you, damage to the bike?
The bike was slightly damaged, the fairings are scuffed, screen was snapped in the subframe, and my back and my ribs are quite sore, I've bruised them quite badly, but we're out to fight another day, so hopefully we'll try and do something today. And
I love the fact you are going to go out and race in about an hour's time, even with the battered and bruised and the same with the damaged bike. That's the Dan Fuller we know, mate.
That's a dedication, yeah, you've got to put a dedication in. I'm happy just to be here, so the weather's good, everyone's here, so got to put on a bit of a show.
Moments away then from race 2 here at Snetterton. I've got the pleasure of being on the grid with the riders as they're getting ready behind me. We've got a front row of Rob Guyver, who won race 1, Phil Atkinson, Chrissy Rouse and Tom Hayward. The weather is scorching, the action should be so too. Let's let them get it on.
Rob Guyver got a sluggish start off pole position in this race. Great starts though for Philip Atkinson and Chrissy Rouse, and it was the Geordie boy Chrissy Rouse who emerged at the front after the initial skirmish through Riches and Dow to the Montreal hairpin. Mind you, it did get a bit scraggy at times. Then we had a fall for Bateman that almost took down the number 7 machine of Richard Stedman. And then down went the early leader, Chrissy Rouse, heavily at the bomb hole, but thankfully without any harm. And the Geordie boy stomped off. And then a big crash there for Walter Patronen, put the 7.7R Triumph out. And then the battle at the front between Egan and Atkinson. Unfortunately, they didn't know that at this point the pace car was out. Atkinson dived through at the S's, and he would be penalised with a ride-through penalty for that move, because the pace car up ahead was already out after those 2 accidents. Rob Guyver made his move down the Bentley Straight, got a terrific draft into the S's at the end of the Bentley Straight, moved through into the lead momentarily because Philip Atkinson ducked back on him or under him and made it through at the bomb hole. But then, of course, he had to take that laborious ride-through penalty. That handed overall victory then to Rob Guyver, his 2nd race win of the weekend. And the 26-year-old, with the insatiable grin on his face, has won once again here.
So, Tom, 3rd overall, 2nd in Premier Class. Not a bad race 2 for you here at Snets.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I got quite a good start, which I'm usually not quite good at the old starts, but because I was on the 4th row, I didn't really have the pressure of getting off the line from, like, obviously the front. So I was obviously quite wound up about yesterday after the hole in the radiator. So I was really aggressive into the first corner. Me and Dan Fuller came into the first corner and sort of just tried to outbrake each other. Then I rode around outside a load of people. Overall, it was a really good race, really pleased. Good stand-up wheelie at the end as well.
We always love the wheelies, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Rob, the double here at Snetterton, that's 6 wins out of 8 in the Triumph Triple Challenge. But let's be honest, halfway through that race, didn't look like that was going to happen, did it?
No, God, what a messy start to the race for me and, well, everyone really. I'd much rather win a race like that today than like yesterday when I was just miles in front.
It's nice to have someone to chase, isn't it? Someone to kind of get into, I suppose, when you're trying to get those times in.
Yeah, I mean, like yesterday, when I was in the lead, I was just looking at the pit bull, the laps counting down, just going forever. I mean, that race felt like 5 minutes. It was really exciting, though. I really enjoyed it.
So even more controversy after the end of race 2. We've just found out that a couple of riders have been issued with penalties and a number of riders are appealing, which could change the whole result. So we're here at Race Control to find out exactly what's going on. So then, after the rather lengthy decision and appeals process to get the final results for race 2, I can confirm that both Rob Guyver and James Egan were given a 21-second penalty after the race for overtaking under the safety car. This is combined with Phil Atkinson, who served a drive-through penalty during the race for doing exactly the same thing. This, though, ended up being the dream result for Tom Ward. Originally 3rd on the podium and 1st in the Premier Class, he ended up taking the elite race win. David Sellers moving up from 3rd to 2nd on the podium, and Tom Hayward, recovering from his big accident at Thruxton, managing to take the last podium place and finishing 3rd in the elite class. Elsewhere, Triumph had another very successful weekend in the Supersport Championships. The Australian rider Glenn Richards nabbing 2nd place in race 1 on his Smith's Gloucester Racing Triumph, and they had another 4 riders within the top 10, with last year's Triumph Triple Challenge winner, the excellent Luke Jones, finishing 1st in the Supersport Cup and 8th overall on his 777RR T3 Racing Factory Triumph. In race 2, it got even better for Smith's Gloucester Triumph in one of the closest finishes of the season. All 5 of the top riders were separated by just 0.5 of a second, and in the frantic scramble for the line that ensued, Glenn Richards again got himself on the podium, this time in 3rd place with teammate Billy McConnell just pipping him to 2nd, with the top 3 riders separated by only 0.06 seconds.